Hi, this is Margo. This is Thursday afternoon, June 27th, 2019, 5:06 p.m. Pacific Time, United States of America. So I promised to show you sulfur dioxide when it plumed up from this volcano at Papua New Guinea that exploded yesterday. And so here's the plume that came up at Ulawun, and it shot up, the ash cloud shot up 63,000 feet. It's not erupting anymore, and so we've got that to dissipate down here. This is the Pacific view of sulfur dioxide from Copernicus Atmosphere Monitoring Services, and it's from today, Thursday, total column. And we can see also how this sulfur dioxide mass is dispersing in the Arctic regions. And so this was impressive down here in Papua New Guinea, but nothing matches what happened up here with Raikoki. Nothing. And like Popocatépetl is always going off. We've got stuff from Hawaii. We've got volcanoes down in South America going off. We got stuff going off a lot of different places, but nothing matches what has happened up here with Raikoki, and it's apparently calmed down now too. But when we're able to see the effect from the sulfur dioxide or the methane or something like that, when we can see in pictures like this, it really brings it home how these volcanoes and earthquakes and all these other things have an effect on our environment. And I think it's fascinating that we're able to actually go on the internet. Anybody can go on the internet if you have the website and a little bit of scientific bent. You can learn how to read this stuff. So here's the North Pole view, and here it is spreading out over the North Pole. This is from the Raikoki blast from the 21st and 22nd, and we're going to keep an eye on this because this is not good. This will not bode well for whatever sea ice is still struggling up there. And the sun is up. The sun is up 24/7 up there. There you have it. So I'm going to leave this as a backdrop. I want to do a little more follow-up on the volcano from yesterday. First of all, here it is. Okay, I'll back out so you can get oriented. Here's Papua New Guinea, and here's the little arm that goes out. And this volcano that blew up is right here, Ulawun. And we see no activity here today. That's a cloud. Yesterday, we can't really tell because it was all cloud covered. And that's when it blew up, so we can't really see it from this view on NASA World View. There are other pictures of it blasting through the cloud cover, but it's not caught here. And here it is from the day before the big eruption on June the 25th, where it was spewing up stuff already. It was ready to go. It was warning everyone. and we can't see anything at Raikoki because it's so cloudy today. So here's an update from Volcano Discovery. Ulawun, New Britain, Papua New Guinea, and this is an update on dated today. The activity at the volcano seems to have decreased a lot or ceased last evening at the end of the very violent eruptive phase. Satellite observations show that the impressive umbrella cloud topping out and spreading as a circle more than 150 kilometers diameter in the lower stratosphere rather quickly dissipated when the eruption column stopped feeding it. So here's a picture. Oh, that's a different volcano. Why do they have Sabunkaya there next to Ulawun? Whatever. And if you want to read more, you just click there. Okay. VAC Darwin has still a warning in place of ash plumes at up to 55,000 and 45,000 feet altitude. Flight levels 550 and 450 as the attached picture shows, but expects the ash to dissipate during the next 12 hours or so. Now, ash is different from sulfur dioxide, and the sulfur dioxide shoots all the way up through total column. So if you want to read the complete and more about Ulawun, you can click on that link there. Then an update on Raikoki. This is from today. The activity at the small island volcano itself seems to have decreased a lot or even ceased. There are no more new ash alerts issued that mention new emissions at the volcano itself, and no significant heat signals can be found. However, VAC Anchorage continues to alert about the possible remaining ash clouds from the main phase of the eruption during June 21 and 22. On the other hand, most of this ash must by now have been dispersed sufficiently to fall below direct detection by satellite-based sensors. What is still clearly being detected is the significant sulfur dioxide gas plume. That's what I just showed you. In various branches, it hovers over parts of Siberia, the northern Pacific, and Alaska, mainly at altitudes between 9 to 13 kilometers. And that's what we see. There it is. That's the sulfur dioxide mass. I'm not calling it a cloud or a plume. It's a mass. And sulfur dioxide is very heavy, and so it disperses slower than some of these other greenhouse gases. And then I have an article. This is from abc.net.au. This is about the volcano yesterday at Papua New Guinea. And this was updated yesterday at 5:52 p.m. Papua New Guinea's Mount Ulawun volcano erupts and sends thousands of residents fleeing. And here's a picture of the blast, how it went up through the clouds. And we know that more than 5,000 people have been forced to flee their homes after the volcano erupted. Eyewitness accounts online showed people evacuating their homes as a large column of black smoke and red lava spewed from the crater of Mount Ulawun, known to be one of the most hazardous volcanoes in the world. This is a repeat of kind of what I read yesterday. but it continues with new information, so I'm going to read it. Satellite imagery showed the eruption plume reaching heights of between 13 and 15 kilometers. Volcanic activity began around 7 a.m. on Wednesday, with rumbling and booming noises heard throughout the day. Excuse me. And an eruption warning was issued, prompting an evacuation. See, I'm not feeling real great right now, but I need to get this report done. I'm a little hoarse because I was in some toxic places today, so we just have to deal with it. Flights have been canceled into nearby Hoskins Airport, and lava has cut off the New Britain Highway in 3 different locations, according to local media. Pilot Oroli Tamara took images of rising smoke as she flew past yesterday afternoon. The top of the ash cloud did look to extend well up to 30,000 to 40,000 feet, or 10 to 12 kilometers, she told the ABC. But we saw on Volcano Discovery it went up 63,000 feet. Papua New Guinea Post-Courier reported more than 5,000 people have been evacuated so far, but a shortage of vehicles has slowed down the process. A local community leader told the Post-Courier that only 5 vehicles had been working non-stop to ferry people from the danger zone. And here's some pictures of the people evacuating, and here's the cloud again. The government did not come to help, and we had to use whatever means we had to move people. Christopher Legisa, a village elder and local palm oil estate owner, told the ABC. It was quite a lot. Even we had to ask people to start walking and then get picked up on the road. So the government didn't come in. So there you go. They were on their own. And this is what it's going to be like for a lot of people when we have these flooding and droughts and earthquakes and volcanoes and slippage of the plate and movement of the mantle and raining down fiery hailstones, fireballs from the heavens. And we're not going to have anyone to come and help us. We're going to be on our own, so we need to have a certain amount of prepping done, but you got to have your wits about you too. Mr. Legisa said that due to lava flows and ash, the local community had to be moved around 20 to 30 kilometers from the base of the mountain. He said government disaster officials did not arrive until the evening, and foreign companies working in the area did not offer their vehicles to assist in the evacuation. That's terrible. I don't know why the government came in very late, he said, adding that officials were now arranging for supplies of food and water that will hopefully be delivered today. Mr. Legisa said the volcano had been monitored all night, but so far there were no reports of injuries or damage to homes. Well, that's amazing. He said the evacuation notice was expected to last about a week, but the eruption was already appearing to dissipate. Here's another statement. It started and has calmed down within 24 hours, which is unusual because normally it would go for 4 to 7 days before it calms down, he said. Ulawun is the highest and steepest of all the volcanoes in Papua New Guinea and is considered to be one of the 6 high-risk volcanoes in the country, according to the Papua New Guinea Geological Survey. While Ulawun has produced small eruptions periodically for the past few decades, the last eruptions of this scale occurred in September 2000 and again in May 2001. And there's a video if you want to see that. And do you want to play that? Let's see if we can play that. That's from that pilot's airplane. See, that's popping up through the cloud layer. There's the clouds. And she's right above the clouds and taking a picture of it. So there's that. Now, let's move on to earthquakes. But before that, let's check in at the Oroville Dam and the lake level. And it's been holding at 895.97 feet. That's what it was at the time of my report yesterday. Yesterday it was 895.97 all day from midnight to midnight, and it's been holding at that level all day today. So apparently they've adjusted the outflow at the Hyatt power plant to kind of keep up with the inflow. It looks like that the inflow is still a little bit more than the outflow, but there is evaporation and different factors too that offset this outflow, that offsets these numbers. So the inflow is holding at about 4435 CFS, and the outflow is holding at right around 4,000, a little bit above CFS. So, you know, maybe they dodged a bullet this year. I don't know. But, you know, I would hate to live there and go through this all the time. And it's not just in the summer. They have stuff happen in the winter too. They have rain in the winter. It could overflow in the winter. It could break. I mean, they could have all kinds of things happen, and it could happen at any time because it's an ill repair. So, you know, I would have a nervous breakdown if I lived there. I couldn't do it. There's no way I could do it. Alright, now we're going to look at USGS. Oh, I don't have my tremor map pulled up. Hang on. Let me get that ready. I'll be right back. Well, I'm back. That was not very fruitful. The tremor map is showing 0 epicenters as of yesterday, for yesterday. I don't know if that's a mistake. It says no tremor in this time range. I kind of highly doubt that they would have no tremors. Oh well. Alright, USGS, we have all magnitudes for the last 24 hours pulled up here. We are showing 298 earthquakes worldwide. So that's an uptick. And of those, 30 are 2.5 magnitude or higher. So let's see what's about to come off the map. I showed these two down in Baja last night, so I don't need to repeat those. I will if they're still showing when we go to show that. Here's Dominican Republic and so on. So let's figure out where to start. Let's start down here in Mexico, right down here off the coast of Mexico. There was a 4.4 at San Patricio, Mexico at 9:12 this morning. And these times I'm telling you are Pacific time because that's my time zone. Then down here in Peru, we just had a 4.0 near Tarata, Peru, come in at 4:37 p.m., 164 kilometers deep. Then down here in the South Pacific, we had a large 6.3 come in at the Kermadec Islands again. We've been seeing it shake every day for about a week now. We had a lot of activity clustering for a few days here. Had some large ones. It looks like it's in the ocean, so probably didn't do any damage. They're calling it near L'Esperance Rock, New Zealand, 6.3 magnitude. That happened at 4:04 this morning. Then up here is a 5.2 near Pangai, Tonga at 1:58 this afternoon. And then a 4.8 near Ndoye Island, Fiji at 7:14 this morning. And this one is showing 525 kilometers deep. Very, very deep. And those deep ones will make the tectonic plates move all around the planet. Then a 4.7 near Tadine, New Caledonia at 8:39 this morning. We're seeing some more here on now. Okay, the volcano that we just looked at is over here on this little arm coming out. It's actually a little island. It's called West New Britain, or New Britain. The whole island is New Britain, and they divide it into west and east. And so it's on the east side, so it's right up here. So no earthquakes right there, but on the mainland of Papua New Guinea we're seeing a cluster still here at Abepura, where we've had some very large earthquakes recently. So we're showing a 4.7 at 1:53 this morning, a 5.1 at 5:48 this morning, a 4.7 at 8:44 this morning, and a 5.0 at 1:45 this afternoon. Now, two of these had this little wave, and if you click on that, that's the Tsunami Warning Center, and then you can scroll down to check out the reports and see if there was any warning on any of these. And there was not, because today's the 27th and the last one issued was on June the 25th. So no tsunamis on that. Then coming on around, a 4.6 near Dili, East Timor at 10:46 last night. Another very deep one, 552 kilometers deep, and that was in the ocean. Here's a 4.4 near Besisora, Indonesia at 10:05 last night. Here's one, a 4.9 near Ternate, Indonesia at 1:24 this afternoon, 162 kilometers deep. Coming on up, here's one just off the coast of Japan, a 4.4 near Hachinohe at 12:29 this afternoon. That was in the water. Now, hold on. We hardly ever see them at North Korea or at Korea. I don't know if it's just because they're not picked up on the reporting or if they don't happen there. But here's a very, very unusual 3.8 that we're seeing near Songnim, North Korea. This came in at 11:19 last night. 3.8 is not big enough to do damage, but you could feel it if you were near it. And we can see it's not that far from Pyongyang. That's like a major epicenter. Then up here off the Kamchatka Peninsula, remember we saw some large ones here yesterday. Well, we have two more. We have a 5.7 that came in at 9:20 last night, and a 4.1 that came in at 11:02 last night. So this is at the end of that Aleutian Island chain that's full of volcanoes. And this is Kamchatka, Russia, this peninsula, and there are volcanoes all the way down here. And the Raikoki volcano is right along here. I think that takes care of the international quakes. And we're going to go to 2.5 magnitude or all magnitudes now. For Hawaii, we're seeing 7 here today. We have 3 areas. We have over here at Kilauea, over here at Mauna Loa, and down here at Pahala. So let's just zoom in. We have one on the flank of Kilauea, a 2.0 over there. We have 2 near the crater of Mauna Loa, a 1.8 and a 1.7. And then these others are just down here at Pahala, a 1.9, a 1.7, a 2.1, and a 1.9. So those are not huge, but it's showing movement still. Now coming across to the Caribbean, we've got 8 here today. I'll just call them off. 2.0, 3.2, 2.2, 3.0, 1.9, 1.9, 2.5, and 3.2. So it looks like these were all in the ocean. So no damage. Probably people didn't even feel anything. But it's showing movement. That's an active area. Coming on up to Alaska. We've got 95 here today, so that's an uptick of what we've been seeing. Of those, looks like 3 are 2.5 and higher in magnitude. Here's a 2.5 at Koktovik, 3.6 at Adak down here, and a 3.1 at Talkeetna. Now let's look at all magnitudes, and down here at Adak we've got some others. And the Tanaga volcano, has 3. It's right here that these are all in the reporting area. we have some little microquakes going on, 1.3, and then some microquakes going on over here, and then here's that 3.6 at ADAC. And all of these are volcanic islands. A lot of them are dormant, but I think they're coming back to life. Here's a 0.3 at Akutan. And I saw an article. I meant to share it today. I'll find it. I shared it on Facebook. Someone else had posted it, and I found it. I think it was from Planet X News. They were saying that the old Ulawun volcano had they had a landslide at it a couple of days ago. That's not a good thing. That's definitely showing movement. And here's in fact, talking about Ulawun, this earthquake is a 1.4 near old Ulawun. That came in at 441. So that's the reporting station. Look over here. We've got two right here, two little microquakes. But so this is volcanic all the way up. Here's a cluster here, well, a pair. Here's a 1.6 king salmon, 1.8 Kodiak, and so on. We're seeing a lot more in this Cook Inlet. The Redoubt volcano is right here. We're seeing more activity all around there. We're seeing more activity in the Anchorage area. These are small, but it's still showing a lot of activity. 2.2 is the highest. There's that 2.2. So in this viewing area right here is showing 50 earthquakes today. So that is definitely an uptick. And now they're moving up. And here's Fairbanks moving up through the center. And they're moving up. And then here's Koktovik. Here's Kobuk. Still got their cluster going on because of mining, probably. They're 15 here today, and the highest one is a 2.3. Mainly ones. Alright, so now let's go on down. Uh-oh, I missed these over here. Here in Haines Junction, Canada was a 2.0, so that's up there. 0.5, 1.2, 1.2, 1.6, and so forth. Alright, so let's come on down into the lower 48 and Baja. And we're showing 176 here today. So we're going to start right here in this New Madrid hazard zone, a 1.2 at Ridgely, Tennessee at 12:14 this morning. Coming on across in Oklahoma, we've got 3, a 0.5 at Edmond, 2.2 Chickasha, and a 1.6 at Minco. And then we've got one down in Texas, in the Big Bend, kind of in the big, this is called the Big Bend, where the Rio Grande comes down, and then it comes up, and there are mountains down here, and so this is coming down into the Big Bend area. And there was a 2.8 at Presidio, and that's one of the border towns between Texas and Mexico. This came in at 11:44 this morning, so that's getting up there. That could have been a 3. that's definitely getting up there. We'll look at Baja when we go to California. Nothing in Utah. Now coming into the Yellowstone area. We're showing 8 here today. Here's a large one, a 2.4. That looks like the biggest one at Sun Valley, Idaho. So I'll just go through. Here's a 1.2 West Yellowstone, a -0.1 Virginia City, 1.1 Old Faithful Geyser. There's the 2.4 Sun Valley, 1.2 West Yellowstone, 1.4 Old Faithful Geyser, 1.2 Polson, and a 0.7 at West Yellowstone. So still showing movement there. Now coming on over into the Pacific Northwest. Nothing out here in the ocean today on this Juan de Fuca plate. So that's kind of a relief. Here we're not seeing anything in, well, we are seeing this one blast in Oregon. A quarry or explosion of 1.4 magnitude near Elgin, Oregon at 12:52 this afternoon. And so we have 6 earthquakes total. So we've got a 0.4 at Gold Bar, a 1.5 at Buckley, and then we've got 3 right here at Mount St. Helens volcano. We've got a 0, a -0.6, and a 0.1. They're small, but they're showing activity. And this is the crater. It's huge. There's one right in the crater. Here's one on the flank on the south side, and here's one on the flank on the northwest side. Then coming down into Northern California, let's orient ourselves here. Now there are a lot of reservoirs with dams, and the lakes are full, and so to see earthquakes near any of these is always of interest. This is Shasta Lake, and there's a dam here, and we have a 1.8 just to the east of Redding. They're calling it near Millville. That came in at 12:43 this afternoon. Then, okay, and here is here's the Lassen volcano area, and we have one near that, a 0.3, calling it near Viola, and it's at a -1.7 kilometer depth. This came in at 4:06 this afternoon. When you see a negative depth, that means the epicenter of the earthquake is up in the mountain, and that's as a result of movement down below or magma coming up in the chamber. If it's an old volcano, which it very well could be, and magma's moving and flowing and coming up, causing movement. We've got a cluster over here at Willits and Redwood Valley, a 1.5, a 2.2, and a 1.3. And then when you come straight across from that, you've got this -0.1 at Truckee. And then here in the Reno area, we've had a 1.0 just to the north of Reno at Spanish Springs. It's actually it's on the way to Pyramid Lake. And then we've had one in Pyramid Lake up at the northwest part. A 0.8 at 12:23 this morning. And then over here, there have been two at Lovelock, a 1.2 at 10:47 last night, and a 1.1 at 3:28 this afternoon. Now this is Lovelock here. This is up in the mountains, and there's a lot of mining and quarrying in these hills and these mountains, so it could be as a result of that. But it is literally out in the middle of nowhere. There is nothing out there. Literally. Well, this is eerily quiet with nothing at Hawthorne or Walker Lake today. We've got 3 down here, small ones at Beatty and Pahrump. And we've got a 1.7 at Nellis Air Force Base. This happened at 2:27 this afternoon. So this is eerily quiet. Here's a 0.9 near Caliente. Here's a 1.4 near Warm Springs. We got that. Hold on. Alright, I'm going to try and get through this report. I may have to clear my voice, so just going to have to deal with it. Here's a 0.2 at Goldfield, a 1.9 at Big Pine. So let's come on down to Mammoth Lakes. And we've got 7 here today. And these are, the largest one is this 2.5 at Round Valley at 3:49 this morning. And then we've got a 2.2 near Bonadel Ranchos, Madera Ranchos, California. This came in at 10:42 last night. Here in the Coso Junction area we're 6. The largest one was at 1.4 and 1.4. The rest are under that. Here's a 1.1 at Fort Irwin. Here's a 2.3 at Mojave. Let's go down to Baja. We've got a cluster. These two, the 2.5 and 2.5 near Delta. Those are from yesterday, last night, at 6:07 and 6:09. And then there was a 3.2 just to the south of those, near Alberto, Oviedo, Mota, at 11:21 last night. Then here's an Quarry Blast, a 1.2 magnitude near Chula Vista. So in Southern California, not counting Baja, we have 67 on the map today, so that's a little bit more than what we've been seeing. And let's see what the larger ones, see if there's any 2.5s. There was a 3.0 at Miraloma. Now that's near Glen Avon. Here's Glen Avon, and here's that 3.0 Miraloma. So remember, we were seeing all these clustering. We've got 38 here today. So it's picking back up in number and in magnitude. So we're seeing like mid to high ones, and then under ones, and then that 3.0. I don't see any twos. So they're just peppered around. Here's a 0.3 at West Hills. Let's see if there were any more explosions. I'm not seeing any right off the bat. Here's a 1.2 Lake Hughes. Showed that one. I think we saw this one. Mojave, yes. Now coming up this San Andreas fault line. Oh, did we get this one? In the San Joaquin Valley? Yeah, that was the weird one. We've got two on the coastline here. 1.7 near San Simon and a 1.9 near San Simon. And then we've got two at Kolami, a 1.4 and a 1.0. And then a 0.8 at San Ardo. Ooh, look at all of these. They're all lined up. Here's a 1.6 at Gilroy, 1.1 San Martin, 1.5 Morgan Hill, 1.1 Allen Rock. Some of these might have been from my show last night, a little bit of overlap. So 1.4 Bonnie Doon. Here's a 0.7 Los Altos Hills. Here's a 1.1 at Healdsburg. And here's the geysers. So let's see what we've got here today. We've got 39. That's kind of a high average number. Let's see if any of those are 2.5 magnitude or higher. No, they're not. So these are mainly in the ones and under range. Let's see if we have any twos. Here's a 2.0. We usually have at least one 2.0. That's what we've got. So let's zoom out and see if there's anything else of significance to talk about. Well, it looks like we have another one down here. This one just came in, a 4.5 near Tobelo at 5:28 this afternoon. 106 kilometers deep. That was Indonesia. Oh, here's one I missed. Maybe they just now put it on the map. It's in the Adriatic Sea. A 2.3 near Murtur, Croatia. This happened this morning at 8:22 a.m. Pacific time. It's in the water there. That's just to the east of Italy. I think that's it for our earthquake report tonight. So I hope everyone is hanging in there, and I do believe we're in the end times, and we need to get our spiritual houses in order. And so God bless you, and until next time, go in peace and good night.